Okay, let us start from lecture 9. So today we're gonna do few questions on the ratio test which we have already done. So let's say first thing, so I have n runs from 1 to infinity 2n factorial upon n factorial n factorial. So the question is, we need to solve this by using the ratio test. So here an is 2n factorial upon n factorial and n factorial. So if we want to write down the an plus 1, so we'll simply replace n by n plus 1, right? So wherever you find n, you just replace it by n plus 1. So now by ratio test, an plus 1 upon an would be what? 2n plus 2 factorial upon n plus 1 factorial into n plus 1 factorial. So since this an is in the denominator, so we'll replace it by numerator and denominator will get replaced, will get interchanged actually. So this is your an plus 1 upon an. So that would be, so let's say we expand it. So 2n plus 2, 2n plus 1. So here we are left with 2n factorial and expand n plus 1 factorial. So we'll get n plus 1 outside and n factorial. Similarly, n plus 1 n factorial into factorial n upon 2n factorial. So this 2n factorial and 2n factorial will get cancelled, and factorial n and factorial n will also get cancelled. So now we shall take the limit n tends to infinity an plus 1 upon an, right? So which is equal to what? Limit n tends to infinity 2n plus 1 2n plus 2. Why? Because we are left with two factors here, 2n plus 1 and 2n plus 2, and here we have n plus 1 n plus 1. So this will become what? N plus 1 whole square. So we write it as limit n tends to infinity. So we get 2 common outside, n plus 1 into this 2n plus 1 is there, and here n plus 1 whole square. So if we take the limit of this, so this will become limit n tends to infinity. So let's say n common. So we'll have 2 plus 1 by n upon n common 1 plus 1 by n. So this will become 2 into 2 plus 0 upon 1 plus 0. So of course this is 4. So now since your 4 is greater than 1, so therefore by ratio test, this is your row and your row is 4 which is greater than 1. By ratio test your row is greater than 1, therefore summation an is divergent. So the given series is divergent. That's what we want to prove. So let's say another question, and that is, so figure out the convergence or divergence of this series. So again we shall apply the ratio test. So if we compare it with the summation an, so we have an to be n factorial upon 10 raised to power n. So what would be an plus 1? Again we'll replace n by n plus 1 everywhere in the expression. So now by ratio test again we'll take the ratio of an plus 1 and an. So again by ratio test we'll take the ratio of these two. So this becomes what? We'll take n plus 1 to be common. So we are left with n factorial, 10 raised to power n plus 1, 10n n factorial. So this n factorial and n factorial will get cancelled. So here also, so your 10n and 10n will also get cancelled. So now you take limit n tends to infinity on both sides. So this becomes limit n tends to infinity n plus 1 upon 10, right? So this will become what? So of course, as this expression will tend to infinite, this will become infinite, right? So that means what? That your summation an is divergent, again by the ratio test, right? So we have also discussed the case of failure. Why we say that if we take the rho to be 1, then it would be a case of failure. So idea is, I want to say that if your rho is equal to 1, then we cannot detect anything, then it becomes inconclusive. Okay, so let me write it properly. So this becomes inconclusive. So how it is inconclusive? Let's say we'll give two examples over here. So let's say you take the example summation 1 by n runs from 1 to infinity. We know that it is a divergent series. So why it is inconclusive? So let's say take this thing. So we know that it is divergent. So let's say do it by ratio test. So an plus 1 upon n plus 1. So again take an plus 1 upon an. So this becomes 1 upon n plus 1 upon 1 by n. Yes, of course, you need to take the limit n tends to infinity. So this becomes limit n tends to infinity n upon n plus 1, which will come out to be 1. But by p test we know that this series is divergent. Now let's say another example. So you take the series this one. So here your an is 1 by n square, and of course your an plus 1 will be n plus 1 whole square. Again, compute the same expression, that is limit n tends to infinity an plus 1 upon an. So it becomes limit n tends to infinity 1 upon n plus 1 whole square upon 1 by. So it becomes limit n tends to infinity n square upon n plus 1 whole square. So if you compute this, this will also come out to be 1, right? So but we know that by p test this series is convergent. By p test, right? Why? Because your p is greater than 1. That's why this is convergent, right? So this is your series which will be convergent. Here you know that it's a harmonic series, so it has to be divergent. You check this, in both the cases your rho is equal to 1, but one of the series is divergent and another is convergent, so you cannot conclude anything. So for rho is equal to 1, our test will get failed. So let's say do one more example for this ratio test. So let's say we want to check whether the series is convergent or divergent. It's a little complex problem. So all you need to understand that how this expression is working. Right. So you see that a sequence is present in a series. How? So if you put n is equal to 1 over here, so you put n is equal to 1 over here. So what do you get? You get the first term to be 1 upon. So if you put n is equal to 1 over here, here 2 into, if you put n is equal to 1 over here, so it becomes 3 raised to power 1 plus 1. Now if you put n is equal to 2, see, you will get the product of first two terms. Why? Because this is the product which is going in the numerator. So if you put n is equal to 2 over here, it becomes 2 into 2, 4 minus 1, 3. That means we'll take the product of first two terms. Similarly, if you take n is equal to 1, n is equal to 2 for the denominator, so that means it becomes 4. That means you will take the product up to 4. So that means you have 2 into 4, and here 3 raised to power 2 plus 1. So if you put n is equal to 3, now you will have to take the first three terms, and here 2, 4, 6, 3 raised to power 3 plus 1, and so on, right? So this is a kind of sequence which is already present in numerator and denominator, right? So you need to take care. So this whole quantity, if you see, this whole quantity is representing your an, right? Because we compare it with summation an. So here your an is what? 1, 3, 5 up to 2n minus 1 upon 2, 4, 6 up to 2n into 3 raised to power n plus 1. So now you want an plus 1, of course, that would be nothing but you replaced n by n plus 1. So it becomes 2 n plus 1 minus 1, 2, 4, 6, 2 n plus 1, 3 raised to power n plus 1 plus 1. So make sure that you have replaced n by n plus 1 wherever the n is present in the an. So now, of course, you want an plus 1 upon an. So that is 1, 3, 5, 2n plus 1. Why? Because 2n plus 2 minus 1, so it becomes 2n plus 1. So upon 2, 4, 6 up to 2n plus 2, right? So let me put this expression over here, to 3n plus 1 plus 1. So here you will have 2, 4, 6 up to 2n and 1, 3, 5 up to 2n minus 1 into you have a term 3n plus 1, 3n plus 1. So I'll write this term over here, right? So now you see that here you have consecutively 2n plus 1 terms, up to 2n plus 1 terms, right? So it has n odd terms, n plus 1, odd terms, and it has n odd terms. So this is the product of n odd terms, and this is the product of n plus 1 odd terms. So 2n minus 1 is also present over here. So up to 2n minus 1, these terms will get cancelled. Similarly, 2n is present over here. So up to 2n, these terms will get cancelled. So now you take limit n tends to infinity an plus 1 upon an, which is limit n tends to infinity. In numerator, you are left with 2n plus 1 into 3n plus 1. And in denominator, you are left with 2n plus 2 into 3 raised to power n plus 1 plus 1, right? So now you can take common n from these two factors. So here you have n, 2 plus 1 by n, and n, 2 plus 2 by n. So here you can take 3n common, so 1 plus 1 by 3n, and from the denominator you can take 3n plus 1 common, so 1 plus 1 by 3n plus 1, right? So your n and n will get cancelled, your 3n and 3n will get cancelled. So now you put n tend to infinity, so you are left with 1 plus 0 upon 1 plus 0, and here is a 3, which, since your expression is 3n plus 1, so we are left with 3 over here. So we have 2 upon 6, that becomes 1 by 3. So since it will come out to be 1 by 3, so of course your row is 1 by 3, which is less than 1. So by ratio test, summation an, the given summation an is convergent. That's the idea. So these are the few questions on the basis of ratio test. So now we shall start the root test or nth root test. Or we call it as the nth root test. So you can simply call it as root test. So let me put the statement over here. So what it says, so let summation an be a series of non-negative terms. Again, as we have mentioned in the last lecture, this part is pretty much important. This assumption is pretty much important, that we are taking the terms to be non-negative. Otherwise, things may not work in the desired way. So for all n greater than equal to n, that means for tail, after a certain cutoff, these things becomes non-negative. And limit n tends to infinity an raised to power 1 by n will come out to be a number rho. Then what will happen? So the first thing is, so series summation an converges if your rho is less than 1. Summation an diverges if rho is greater than 1 or rho is infinite. In the third point, the test will say nothing if your rho is 1, that means inconclusive. So let's start with the proof of this theorem. So of course we'll deal the first case. So given that our rho is less than 1, and also given that if you take limit n tends to infinity en raised to power 1 by n, it will come out to be rho. Now, as we have discussed in the last ratio test, in the last lecture, we have said that, so choose epsilon positive such that rho plus epsilon will still remain less than 1. Now that is something which we have already done in the first lecture, that how to choose such an epsilon so that rho plus epsilon will remain less than 1. This can be always done, and however small it is, it doesn't matter however small it is, we can always make the difference of the sequence and the limit is less than that small number. So here if you mark it as star, so you'll call it as, so from star there exists m belongs to n. Let me so from star there exists m belongs to n such that you can make the difference of an and rho less than epsilon after all n greater than equal to m. That's what we want to say, right? So from this inequality can be written as rho minus epsilon to rho plus epsilon for all n greater than equal to m. So let's choose the right hand side of this thing. Okay, let's consider only this part. So that means your an raised to power 1 by n is less than rho plus epsilon for all n greater than equal to m. Now, so let's, for the brevity, we want to say this is equal to r, let's say. Just to get a smaller notation, we'll keep this thing as r. So above thing will become an raised to power 1 by n is less than r for all n greater than equal to m. Now come to our original series, that is what? N from 1 to infinity an, which can be expanded as a1 plus a2 plus somewhere am and so on up to infinity, right? So after this, we can also write it as, let me write it more properly, am. So after am it will become am plus 1 and then am plus 2 and so on up to infinity. Now we know that after m, after this, all the terms becomes less than r, right? All the terms are becoming less than r. So we can also, let me mark this as double star. So from double star, this expression, we'll write this expression as, let's see, a1 plus a2 plus am minus 1 plus am. So that am is less than the r raised to power n, if you take that 1 by n over this side, right? So this here am is less than the what? Am minus 1 plus your am is, let me write it properly, is r n, right? And then rm minus rm plus 1 and so on up to infinity. Why? Because after m, this thing is less than this. So that's why in place of less than, here in place of equal, I'll replace this sign as this now, because this quantity is now become the greater one. So now this quantity is equal to what? a1 plus a2 up to am minus 1, and from here you have rm plus 1, rm plus 2 and so on. So we'll write it as, we'll take rm to be common, 1 plus r square up to infinity. Now this expression will becomes what? a1 plus a2 plus am minus 1 plus rm into, this becomes a gp with common ratio less than 1, right? Why? Because s infinity is 1 upon 1 minus r in case when your mod r is less than 1, and we have chosen epsilon in such a way that epsilon plus rho, which was equal to r, remains less than 1. So now if you see the upper quantity, you will come to know that since these are the finitely many terms, so these finitely many terms will give you a finite sum. So this quantity is finite, right? And now this becomes an infinite GP with common ratio less than 1. So this quantity is also what? Finite. So you have the sum of two finite quantities. So of course, so you have proved that this whole thing is less than a finite quantity, right? So this whole thing is less than a finite quantity. Why less than? Because we have replaced this sign over here, so this was less than over there, right? And that's why. So so that means what? So now your ans were positive, so that means now you have proved that therefore sequence of partial sums is bounded above. Now again we have an important assumption, that's what? an positives. So since all ans are greater than equal to 0, or we would say that after tail, So since your ANs are greater than equal to 0, so therefore sequence of partial sums is also increasing. So now your sequence of partial sum is increasing, and now you have a sequence which is bounded above also. So therefore by combining these two, we'll say that our series, which was summation n runs from 1 to infinity an, has to be convergent. So this is convergent, right? So that's what we want to prove. So let's say do few questions on the basis of root test. So let's say this question. So the question is, check the convergence or divergence of this series, right? So how are we going to do? Of course, we'll pick the an and we'll calculate the an raised to power 1 by n and take the limit n tends to infinity. So let's start with this. So your an is n square upon 2n, right? So therefore your an raised to power 1 by n is n square by 2n raised to power 1 by n. So now take limit n tends to infinity on both sides. So limit n tends to infinity, n raised to power 2n to 1. Why? Because 2 has already power n. So if we take the power 1 by n, so it will remain only 2. Give you only 2. So now this can be written as limit n tends to infinity, n power 1 by n 2 by 2. Now we know that this quantity, when you take the limit n tends to infinity, it will become 1. So right, so this whole quantity will become 1 by 2. So now your rho is 1 by 2, which is less than 1. So therefore your summation an n runs from 1 to infinity is convergent. That's what you wanted to prove. So let's say new question. So every time you are not getting the same question, or you sometimes do not need to apply any kind of test, right? So it is a test, right? So now, so as you see the power, you may feel that you should apply the root test over here, but it is not so, because this can be easily done through the nth term divergence test, right? So in this test, we check that if your limit n tends to infinity an is not going to 0, that means your summation an is divergent. This has been discussed in detail. We've already done this, right? So here your limit n tends to infinity, your an is 1 minus 3 by n raised to power n. So this is nothing but e raised to power minus 3. So which is not going to 0, right? So e raised to power minus 3, which is not going to 0. So therefore summation an is divergent. So sometimes you don't need to apply any specific test such as root test or ratio test. So sometimes this small test can do wonder. So let's do the last question on the basis of root test. So let's say we have this. Sorry, it's n over here. So now let's say limit n tends to infinity an raised to power 1 by n. Again we'll start with the expression of root test. So in place of an, we have n by log n raised to power n. So we'll take whole power 1 by n. So this will again becomes n raised to power 1 by n and log n. So now if you see that, you know that this expression which we have done in one of the questions, so this will become 1. But if you take n tends to infinity in the denominator, it will become infinite. So 1 upon infinite, this will become 0. So in case of 0, we know that it is less than 1. So therefore your summation n runs from infinity n upon log n raised to power n is convergent. So that's it. So that's it for today.